it's a county that love cricket, passionate about cricket. It's so sad to see that people I work with also being affected by it.
Today we are joined by Tharindu Perera. People call him by different names. Some call him T, some call him Banksy. But for me, he's always been Thara. That's for more than 20 years. He's currently in Australia coaching South Australia Redbacks and Adelaide Strikers Big Bash team. Welcome to Sri Lankan Cricket Podcast, Thara. Excited to have a chat about cricket with you.
Good to be catching up with Tara on this platform. I know we go way back in time. We've met on different occasions, generally around the cricket field. So good to, catch up, pick his brains now, because back in the junior days, cricket was a lot more different. I think we've matured a lot in, playing in different teams and in different environments. And I'm really glad that Tara is here to pick his brains on where he's at. He's in that high performance environment that we talk about, and he's behind the back doors of what the players see and push through from a coaching environment. So today will be a lot about that rather than how we were missing balls at junior level mainly. So just want to kick things off from that end.
Yeah, I think let's start with your experience with Adelaide Strikers and South Australia Redbacks. Tara, how your first time in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, how do you find the experience in Australia?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, this second time I came to play 2013-14 season. I don't know whether you remember. Signed for a club. Didn't know much about Australia. Didn't know much about the map. I knew it's a big country. So I signed for a club in Double. It says New South Wales. Then when I landed in Sydney, I realized it's about 400, 500 kilometers from Sydney inland. So, if you remember, Rana running from my school picked me up from Sydney Airport. And he said, in his words, miles away. It's far away. I was like, okay, that's fine. He put me in a train. It took 7 hours to get to Double. I passed Blue Mountains, all the hills, all the dirty, dusty areas, and I ended up in Double. Played 3 months there. Then I moved to Melbourne for 3 months. I lived in city centre, so I did. Yeah, that's my first experience. But this is my second time and first time in Adelaide, in South Australia. Experience was great. I was very looking forward to it. Australia is famous for winning trophies. Australia know how to win games, and it's all about coming and, as you said, pick these guys what they do. Working alongside amazing coaches who are, played the game and won trophies for their countries and for the state. So Adelaide Strikers, that I don't know, it's like a dream now. Looking back now, like it went so fast. I know it's a long tournament. We didn't go all the way,
but it went really fast.
Started very well.
Started very well.
We had a really good start. We had a really good side, very balanced, very experienced, and some young talent. Likes of Linny coming to the team, that was brilliant. A lot of experience playing around the country and the world. Then Colin de Grandhomme with a lot of experience again. World Cup finalist, played all formats before, played around the world again, played in Sri Lankan Premier League. He's talking about all the good times. I don't know whether you boys were involved back in then. When I said I'm from Sri Lanka.
We were part of that only Sri Lankan Premier League tournament. But you also had the big boy in Rashid Khan, superstar performer. So that would have been good.
He's unreal. Like, it's just his presence. It's just very chilled out, down to earth. He's an amazing guy. I got to know him first time I met him. What he brings to the team is in Malibu. So yeah, those three guys. Then we had Adam Holt. Everyone he done really well in England, but is he good enough to do it here? Is he good enough to play in one of the best franchise tournament in Australia? And yeah, he's done really well. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Like any team. I mean, you look at the team sheets, names. It's easy to pick a winner, but anything can happen in a day. That's why I think happened. We had a 4 games in a row we lost. That lost our momentum. We should have maybe, I think, it's easy to say could have. But yeah, we didn't get that results against some teams we could have beat. It became really hard at the end because Brisbane Heat all the way, when they started, they were bottom of the league and ended up going into the finals. It shows how amazing this tournament is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the longest tournaments in T20 circuit. So did that affect you? Because Big Bash is very long tournament, so it's very hard to keep the momentum throughout. How long was it? Was it 2 months? Maybe
we got together first week or beginning of second week of December. Was it just recently finished? It's long. It's also you can say either way because looking at us, we started well, then we didn't even get to the last 5.
Yeah.
Then you look at a team like Brisbane. They had a 4-star. They ended up in finals. So a lot of things can happen in the middle. Yeah. And the other problem is we couldn't play the same 11 or very core group of players all the time. That's how get the balance and the momentum going through. And players used to play together. That has changed with Rashid going to South Africa, Lini went to Dubai, then we had Kerry and Hedy came for last 3-4 of the games, and you're replacing the players, but I think best teams have best players or the same players playing continuously. So I think that's something I think it is really important in a longer tournament.
Yeah,
that's something we probably struggled a bit.
I think you nailed it on the head when you look at Perth's coaches. They had that core unit of Bancroft and Ash Turner at the top. What batting was set around. They had their own set of bowlers. So before we move on to the next topics, I just want to touch base because based out at Adelaide, playing at the Adelaide Oval, how was that experience? Because we keep hearing that's one of the best environments to be watching a game or to be part of. Is that how you see it as well? Or?
Yeah, 100%. I think not just me, I spoke to people who's been around. I've been to MCG before. I haven't been to many other grounds, but just this ground is different. Not just the fans are great. Fans are great. I mean, fans everywhere are great, isn't it? Backing their home team. But it's just the location. Some days with and Bora, when the sunset and
beautiful.
The old pavilion and that little open area, it's just next level. And it's one of the best grounds I've ever been. I've been to a few good grounds around the world, but this ground second to none. I watched the test match there. Again, there's about a few hundred people spending all day at the back. That's where the party is, where the food stores and bars and everything, where the people having good time. At the same time, cricket is test cricket at its best. So yeah, one of the best grounds.
But I still think Galle is the best cricket ground in the world.
I think a good way with let's wind back the clock in terms of how Thara comes into a high performance coaching environment, and the journey from there for us, for our listeners to understand. We know as players how hard we compete to get there, but I think it might be the same or equally as difficult from a coaching point of view. So
I think let's talk about early years of your coaching, Thara. I think this was in 2006 when I met you in England. We used to do these summer camps in London, and we were just after playing under 23 cricket for SSC. Then you moved to England. Is that where you started? Then you moved on to Yorkshire, then went on to coach Warwickshire as well. So I like to hear more about the early stages of your coaching days, Tara.
Yeah, in England, that's probably the first stage, like 2006, 2005, I moved to England. But that's in the winter, so 2006 is my first summer. So as you mentioned, the Spencer Cricket Club, that's where I did very little coaching there. But my first ever coaching, like teaching or looking after group of players came when I was under 13,
Right.
going back to our
Wow.
soccer college. Yeah. We were fortunate like royalists, those in Peter Rights in Maradana. We only had one net in our school. I remember first 2 years of my under 13, I was year 6 and year 7, obviously as a junior. And then when I come to my last year of under 13s, we had a new coach.
Right.
And there's so much interest to young, enthusiastic guys want to join, play for school. So we had about 60 players in our school who wanted to play for under 13 and one coach. And we have that one lane in our school and a little bit of ground. Not even a ground. It's like this in between classes, there's a little bit of space. So
Yeah.
this coach is actually clever in a way. He picked like 4 or 5 seniors who played before. And he showed us a skill, let's say front foot drive.
Yeah.
Then we lead the 10 or 15 guys in our level group. We're teaching them how to the way we have to look up their elbow and head position, etc. 1, 2, 3, as you know, we used to do that. So I was coaching them. That's how it started. Then obviously all the age groups and things got better. Butters and everyone came into the scene. We had this no match grade ground, so we were being looked after pretty well. Then since he left, then I had to look after my first 11 school team.
Yeah.
Again, I was at Cold Spring Club. I had to ask the manager, can we do some sessions at the ground? Anyway, so that's how it started. But yeah, first proper sort of coaching. I did my level 1 in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
When I was like 19, then came to England. And that year I was doing my level 2 and asked me to do as a professional, semi-professional at that club to do some summer camps. Only thing I remember, and it was so difficult to coach in English. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know how to say it, but you know what to do, what adjustment to do, but it's just so hard to say it in English. It's more demos than actually saying it. Actually, it's so funny. Like, it's young. Yeah, like, I still remember you repeating the same words, but the same like saying, like, head down, stay low, get forward, just repeating those words, and then if I can't say, I show it. Like, kids pick those things, kids pick those fluids. That's my first experience. So at Spencer Cricket Club, as just a junior cricket coach. But never, like, I used to like travel. I don't think I even make money because sometimes I go all the way to Spencer from North London to do a 1 session. And by the time it's time and your train fee, everything, I probably save about £5.
Yeah, you get $20 for the session, wasn't it? I can't even remember that.
So that's how it started. Then from Surrey, I went to Dorking to many different clubs, but I never stopped doing some sessions. Whether it's a club session, whether it's juniors. That's how we started. But then, I don't know whether you remember 2011, I came back to Sri Lanka to give a last go, trying playing first class cricket. And obviously, I went to Lanka's training at Bloomfield. Still remember this day. There's about 30 of us in the first class squad. Oh, it's not a squad, like training.
Yeah.
And see, no different to Ashoka College. We had a 1 lane in Nomads and in the corner next to that rugby stadium, a Royal Rugby ground. Suddenly someone batting and all these big guns batting, and we all just do the fielding. And no one knew who I was because I was out for like 6 years from the country. I was like, I did like 3-4 hours only did fielding and probably did about 2 overs at the end. I was like, this is not what I want to do. Then I remember talking to you, then joined Tamil Union.
Yeah.
Playing a list day against Borasti.
Yeah, that's I was waiting for that.
Yeah, so that's so I went to Sri Lanka, obviously it didn't really work. But then that's the time I got an offer from a club in Yorkshire.
Yeah.
Which actually got me into a lot of coaching opportunities because part of my deal, play for the club, weekends, and do Monday to Friday coaching in schools. And there was stuff like you go to schools, there's maybe 2 or 3 kids out of 40 played cricket before, all interested. Me and Nadir and I used to go to schools and just some schools good, depends how teachers are, but yeah. It was stuff, but that's where you learn I think how to control it, how you change your sessions to according to your audience, etc. You learn a lot because we go with that sort of expectation, everyone gonna do the way we wanted to. And also having that Sri Lankan culture and the discipline or all the things what we brought up, it's not gonna happen in the Western countries. So you gotta be very adaptable. From that to then moved into sort of starting my own academy. Then I had a really bad injury. Then I decided to start doing a sports coaching degree in 2014. My academy is running really well. I'm studying full time sports coaching degree. Then I put my name forward for Yorkshire Pathway. 3 times they were like, nah, not even reply. Not even a reply. Then finally I got a call saying, okay, come in, we'll have a chat. Then they put me as under 10s coach in 2016. So when you look back, it's only like a full time. I was only 7 years involved in coaching.
Yeah.
But every year there's something happens. So under 10s, next year under 14s, then we've been asked to join in to like first team not helping, just like shadowing what the pro coaches do. And I just went and helped, and they asked me questions, what you've been doing, etc. I just helped. Then they wanted to continue coming to their sessions. So it's all like, yeah, when you look back, it's amazing how it's panned out. But yeah, it's great experience. Roller coaster ride, but yeah, no, I can't say no regrets, but I put a lot of hard work, hard yards, unsociable hours, a lot of sweat and tears into it. Yeah, but no regrets.
Now that's the thing. Like when you look back, like people only see your success, right? They don't see those unseen hours behind the scenes where you had to work hard. Like even looking at the players, the legendary players we see on TV, right? We only see what they do on TV, but you don't see the amount of sacrifice that they have gone through to get to that level. It has been really tough for you to come this far because you don't have a big name, you haven't played for your country. So that's amazing to hear that. You work with some world-class players, Tara, especially at Yorkshire, then after that in Warwickshire. So especially someone like Joe Root, he's one of the all-time greats of the game. How did you find working with these great players?
Yeah, I think the easiest, shortest way to answer that is the relationships and the trust you build. And also the individual, every individual different. Like someone like Rudy, he still wanted to. He scored so many test runs, but still, like last time before I came to Australia, I met him, and he's talking about this because spinners going into the pitch now, not really doesn't help in Bible cricket. He's talking about standing up and sweeping like more like a slap in between deep square. That's sort of like he's still trying to work on things. Then you see some players quite comfortable what they're doing. They don't want to know don't want to like talk about improve. Like it's not they don't want to talk about improvement. They are comfortable what they do, and they're just happy the way they do. Yeah, and some take time to get to know. Then you have conversations. Then open up to how can I help you, that sort of thing, or what do you think? They ask, what do you think? So that it's leading to areas to work on. Every case is different. Every case is different, but you need to be patient. You can't just like the way we brought up is very honest.
Yeah.
I say, what do you do? Like,
yeah, you get it straight up, like.
Yeah, like just like it's just like I call it remote control coaching.
Yeah.
Like you're watching a TV and you just switch buttons and just change it to different channels. It doesn't work like that. But if you have only, but at the same time, you need to understand if you have 50 kids in my school and only one coach, you can't spend like throwing balls at everyone. You know what I mean? You've got to be realistic as well, but yeah, in that environment, it's important to build relationships. So it takes time, it depending on individuals. Then those relationships bring some trust, and then talk about cricket. I just go with open mind, just to happy to help them for their improvement, like for their preparation.
Yeah.
Then they will come to you and ask questions. So I'll go and ask questions. Not probably I'll probably see he can do this better or he can do this. I see this, but I wouldn't go straight away technically or say you're not doing this right.
Yeah.
I'll probably ask a question. If this field is the left arm spinner ball is this way, this is the field. How you gonna score? Where's your boundary? I just try to get him to think what I'm actually trying to ask. Do you know what I mean? Like that, you got to be tactical how you approach about it. Instead of saying, "Oh, you should be doing this."
Yeah.
But if you have the trust, or if you have the relationship for a while, then you can go and say. Yeah, I think my approach is, I think you still, even though you're here for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, you still got to give yourself a bit of time. Sometimes you rush. Sometimes you're trying to like you're excited. You wanna do things. You're doing it in a good faith. You're doing it with good intentions, but sometimes it doesn't really match up with the person's approach or how they go about it before. So I love working. Like I love working with anyone. Some characters are challenging. Some are quite easy to work with. The whole end of the day, you're there to help, regardless of their character, regardless of how they goes about it. You're there to support them. It's about them. That we facilitate their preparation to win games of cricket. It's not easy.
No, it is not.
How does the environment work where in a high performance setup like Yorkshire or Adelaide Strikers, now you're in an assistant role, you got your head coach and probably the captain involved as there. Is there a reporting structure back up to the head coach as say this is a program we are working, or would a head coach like Jason Gillespie say, Tara, we need you to focus on certain aspects? So I'd like to know what the communications there, just so like we know as players the environment we are in, like we follow the captain or the the senior bowler in that group as how we structure our plans.
Yes.
How would it, from a coaching point of view, what's your guide and structure in that aspect?
So going back to the beginning of Big Bash, we met in the ground called Karen Road to Novel. That's like first class ground.
Yeah.
I think first week of December. It's like Christmas evening, everyone excited. Like, a Big Bash starting, new faces, old faces, world class players, young space. It's a new year, everything to play for. Basically, it's just, again, what we talked about, we had John both as bowling coach, fielding, and Alu goes our batting coach, and Jason Gillespie is our head coach. So I was like a support staff.
Yeah.
Basically, really touched on, we talk about DRS, how we're going to use it. Don't go with emotions. Because you probably think it was pitch like outside leg time. You probably not. Just use that 15 seconds to even talk about it. We just spoke about that. That's how important that is.
Yeah.
Then we spoke about search. That changes games all the time, as you can see in this year. I'm new to that. I never heard about search. I mean, I heard about it, but this is the first time I experienced that.
Yeah.
Then spoke about fielding. In training, let's be very specific. If you think you're not gonna go for after like power play, if you're not in the ring, let's make sure you do a lot of out of like boundary fielding. Then let's be specific on things. But when the things start get going, and depending on the results, etc., things start changing. The key is obviously communication, but we have different WhatsApp groups for coaches, captains, then the players. Then that's where we discuss. We meet up half an hour before training start. We chat about it, selection, then about who we playing against. Lots of things going on. And analyst is key. Obviously, how you use it. You try to get as much as information about the opposition, other areas to improve. I think one of the areas we not done really well this year was the power play. We even though we chased 230, we were really poor in our power plays. So that's the area we raised and talked about. So basically, I work with a few different head coaches, and Jason is amazing. He's give you freedom, give responsibility for you to look after your area. That's quite helpful. Like, it's not just one voice. We all have voices. We can talk about things. It doesn't have to be. Again, as a coach, once you know there's a time for you to talk, you don't have to repeat the same messages. You don't have to talk sake of it.
Yeah.
It's again try to keep it simple. That if you look at that squad again, a lot of people know what they're doing, even though they have a bad game or bad 2 games or good games. They knew what they're doing, so they're very experienced players. It's about knowing when to talk about it, whether it's as a group or as individuals. It can be little chats. You were talking about our fielding not being the great again, and we talk about, especially Adelaide Oval is like a long straight shoulder square.
Yeah.
So it's quite tough to long straight stopping twos, and there's few balls went over the head of long off and went for 4. It's about knowing when are we gonna actually giving a 4 and put them under pressure, or are we gonna actually let them run 2, let them work hard for runs 2s, and there's a little bit of mixed up on that. Again, that's all depending on the player experiences and awareness, that sort of thing. So there's no one way of doing it for us. If I'm being really honest, it's just you gotta be adaptable. Because it's as you can see, our journey's been really roller coaster journey, and also you don't have much time to find solutions either. It's quite tough. Sometimes you feel like, what we gonna do? You're running out of options sometimes. And also you got to still have that belief. That's what you can do, isn't it? You can prepare well, that's in your control, and you have to back them and give the confidence to them to go after a tough day, to go again and do well. That's what you can do. It's not one sort of a solid way that we're gonna continue. What we probably done, we don't really talk about on the match day. It's a very short chat. This is the timing. This is the time we're gonna meet. This is the individual preparation time. This is the toss. Just after the toss, team chat. Then we straight away into the warm up, little game, fielding, boom, ready to go. But our chat done 2 days before the game. That's where we go a little bit detail about the position, a little bit of detail about the ground conditions, dimensions, etc. Who likely to play, what some strategies are, how we're gonna go about it, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's fascinating listening to you talk about how the modern game is played, Tara. because there's so many things going into it. Like you had to talk about the role of analyst, and like there's so many things in the modern game you have to think about. It's a big challenge for the players. For you now, you have been an assistant coach for some time, and for you, what sort of challenge you're looking at in the coming years, Tara? Now that the summer's finishing here, and what are you looking forward to? You going back to England, or
We'll
what's
be on a plane
for
to
Tara?
Colombo.
I'm actually going back to the number. It was unplanned. So I left Warwickshire last year, I ended the last season. I had a very good relationship with Paul Farber, who was my director of cricket.
Yep.
Spoke about my future, spoke about where I can go, etc. And someone like him, obviously, not been on he's been around the world. He's went to Srilanka, obviously done a lot of things, and he understands where I'm coming from. He knows how passionate I am. So the one thing I always like, what's next? I want to go. Like sometimes can be too much at too short time.
Yeah.
It was great to talk to him, get some advice, but he's one of them recommended me to like come over, put myself in a different environment, expose myself, which is gonna help me long run. I know for a fact what I've been doing and what I learned from this experience. So I had a few interviews recently, and I'm hoping for a couple of more interviews coming up. So everything in the air now, which is exciting at the same time. If I look back, July or August time when I decided to come to Australia, leaving one of the good jobs I had and working for one of the best countries in England. I think I learned a lot more for what I did in the last 5 months than staying in Warwickshire, that's for sure. So in a way, that's the win. But now it's about what's next. I got a few options, and going into England in March. But before that, I'm going to Sri Lanka for 2 weeks just to spend some time with family. And finally, I'm planning to book a personal trainer and get fit again. A lot of throwing, as you can imagine. And the other thing with that, I bowl left arm, throw right arm. I've been throwing both arms, and both shoulders are a bit tired, need some rest. So hoping to go to Sri Lanka. Not always go to the plan when you go to Colombo, as you know. But I'm hoping to have some downtime and spend time with family and friends, and then go back to England. Don't know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping to get something fixed in the next few weeks. Then might end up in London, might end up in Yorkshire. I don't know.
With your ability to throw with both hands, I no wonder everyone wants to get hold of you.
Oh man, I do really remember the Hobart Hurricanes left arm spinner. That was sort of like a interesting action. So when you played against, especially when we played away, our batters found it really hard to bat against him, even though he looks left arm orthodox. But probably know as well. He's like front of the hand. He just actually goes back in. And with the new ball, everyone tried to play like offside, and he just crammed them in. And he's been really effective. I really liked him, the way he goes about it. Everything about him, just little post, and he's a competitive player. So I try to I can't really throw it in front of the hand. I just throw some arm balls, and that worked. And so whenever left arm spinner played against Adelaide Strikers, I used to throw left arm, then throw side arm with my right arm. That helped.
Sorry, Tara, I was going to ask you, what's the most important training aid you have in your bag as a coach?
Anything like equipment-wise?
Yeah, equipment-wise.
These days inside out.
Yeah.
These days inside out. Otherwise, I don't know where's my arm should be. It will be somewhere. The amount of balls we throw is, I wouldn't say ridiculous, but that's much amount of balls we throw. But again, it's not like you got match days is quite restricted because the game start. And training, it can go I'm not even joking. Today, Daniel drew 160 not out in the Redbacks game. I
Yeah.
drew an inning over an hour yesterday. In I don't know, 35 degrees, 36 degrees.
Yeah.
Me and our bowling coach Batsy was throwing side arm, I was throwing off fish because they had rocket chili. Is it rocket chili, the off fish for Western Australia?
Oh, yeah.
We just kept going and he batted and he batted and we just, Drewy was batting for just close to an hour or a bit more. I think again, as I was talking earlier, it's so individual preparation. So some players just like to have underarms and have a couple of pulls and cut shots with underarm, no pads, anything, or someone can bat for long. So it's so individual. And I'm glad all the hard works, all the sweat paid off today and he got 160.
Nice.
Oh,
And the other thing before, sorry, Bora, side arm and
Yeah.
baseball mitt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the way they hit it back to you and these days, especially with this old age, hard to move as used to be. And some, especially in big bats, you must not must, but you ask to wear a helmet when you throw balls, which is
Yeah.
tough as well. Like throwing a ball with helmet on for like, no, it's not. I try to still believe I can still stop a ball if it come back to me, but they hit you very hard.
Yeah.
Nah. I want to move on to something a little bit sensitive and a little bit controversial. Because you worked at Yorkshire Cricket Club, County Cricket Club, there was recent allegations about racism at Yorkshire Cricket Club. Now, you been coming from Sri Lanka and you obviously worked there for a few years. What was your experience at Yorkshire Cricket Club?
I started as under 10s coach for the first year. Then next year under 14s. Then I was helping academy. Then moved into women's game for a bit. Second team, and even I was the women's head coach, coaching Catherine Brandon, Lauren Winfield, Beth Langston, like very good England players who even went and won the World Cup. And I was part of the support staff, more in a volunteer basis for Yorkshire. So I worked with those guys for regular basis.
Yeah.
And I never had any issues. I really enjoyed. I was welcomed, and I've been given the opportunities up there. I never had issues with any of the players. So yeah, it is sad what happened for Yorkshire. It's a county that love cricket, passionate about cricket. Yorkshire is the best thing. Like they just, it's neck. I've never seen any county like that for cricket or about their own county. And it's so sad to see the people I work with also being affected by it. I hope things will get better and have the justice for the people being affected by it. A lot of good people who are very specialized and skillful experts work day in day out to help players has been obviously sacked for the recent
I saw that.
incidents. Yeah. And knowing those guys personally and speaking to those guys, very sad to see happen. Some of them completely didn't want to be involved, decided not to involve in cricket. Some people, I know one of the support staff bought a house, planned to have a kid, and when he was in overseas tour, being told that he's been sacked.
Right.
But luckily, he's actually doing well in a different county. But their family, like the girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance situation, they had to move out to different ways just for the reasons for what happened. So a lot of things. It's not just people losing jobs. It actually affected their families and people around them. So very sad to see what happened. And for county, I don't know. I think Yorkshire recommended me or nominated me to do level 4.
Yeah, right.
They signed me off. Yeah, they said, your level 4 is coming up. We want you to go and do it. So they support me through and throughout.
Yeah, I think you're the only Sri Lankan who has done level 4, isn't it? Is that the case? Or yeah.
Yeah, I'm the first one to complete that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant achievement,
That's
something we are all
fantastic.
proud as well.
Thank you.
Moving into a topic I know that is really close to your heart, a charity project that you help in Sri Lanka. I think you're the best person to explain that. And, I'd like to, well, get to know more insights about that, how it came about. And I see a lot of goodwill work happening out there. So just want to touch base on that as well, Tara.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so probably 5-6 years ago, it came basically for like just going into private schools. I remember when I first came to Yorkshire, me and Nadir used to go to a private school, grammar school in Wakefield. And the junior school and seniors, they have two different playgrounds. So me growing up in Asok Vidyalaya in one lane, and when I go to grammar school in Wakefield, they have seven, in their ground, they have 7 turf wickets, plus like 4-5 astroturf lanes to practice. That's the junior. That's year 1 to 6.
Oh, wow.
Right? Then 6 to 13, they have a big ground with like 7 astroturf and a big turf. Even when, just going off slightly off the topic, when I launched my academy, my Ceylon Cricket Academy, Mahela Javadan and Kulasekar came to the school to launch it.
Yeah.
And we were going down to the ground to do some drills and then to play around with the junior players. And they're like, is this the junior school grade ground? Like, Kule and Mahela was like
They were
surprised.
surprised.
Yeah, because I never played in a turf ground, turf wicket, until I was 15. My first ever turf game against, when I played for Colombo region against Kandy, and I slipped and I fell off while I was running because I didn't even wearing spikes. I never
We
used
have
to.
spikes.
Yeah, because we can't wear spikes when you're batting matching.
Yeah.
So I start seeing how privileged these kids are and how fortunate these kids are. I came on a family, I think Vidano was working class family, but very supportive, and our family can give the basics requirements. So I had my pads and gloves, what I needed.
Yeah.
But I seen kids or my colleagues struggling even to have their own box. They
Yeah,
used to put box in a shopping bag and put it in. Ball sharing their shoes to wearing different pairs and shoelaces around the pairs to tie up.
yeah.
That's sort of a struggle they had. But the one thing we probably had, and the kids I've seen schools over there, the passion and the hunger to learn and play this game. So when I start actually building a network and getting to know people, I realized I can do something with this. I can actually help the country with these with the community and the network I have. So it's just basically I put a Facebook message on my on Facebook saying this. Well, I had my Ceylon Cricket Academy, so I thought it's going to go Ceylon Cricket Foundation. Ceylon Cricket Foundation, trying to help to underprivileged children in Sri Lanka to play the game for your love. 2 minutes later, I get a message saying we got this much amount of kit. That's how it started.
Wow. So
far, after 5-6 years, we supported 85 schools, I think, in Sri Lanka, all over the island.
That's massive.
Given a lot of equipment, and then we send at least 5-6 coaches from England to do volunteer coaching programs. Because they're up to date with the new sort of coaching syllabus and doing coaching courses in England. So they go to Sri Lanka and helping those players and also coaches with new drills and etc. To develop those kids. That's what we've done so far. But I think the key for me, giving equipment is a good thing. Is help their day-to-day life. It probably ball probably go for 4 than stopping before than having a good bat, etc. But I think the key for the grassroots is the coach education.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so what I suggested. I put a proposal to the sports ministry and the cricket board. This is what we can do. We can bring experts of skill acquisition, sports psychology, strength and conditioning, top level cricket board coaches, the who in the high performance level, they get the education and the support. But what about the grassroots?
Yeah.
Because I remember I sometimes drive past schools and training and just stop and watch, and they still do the same as what we did 20, I don't know how many years ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
One player catching for 50, there's 15 watching.
Yeah, that's semicircle.
I mean, things has changed. A lot of things they can do. We don't have probably the same facilities or the environment, but what we can have, we can still get better, I think. So I still want to educate the coaches and give them as much as tools to them to develop these young cricketers, because one thing we never lose is our talent. There's so many talented young cricketers. But what we need to also understand, there's so much doing life than just playing cricket these days. So kids will go, it's not like us. We only had the way to meet people and get together and have a chat, have a laugh, do all that, playing cricket and playing some other, like just playing outside, isn't it? These days, there's so many different ways, even in Sri Lanka. Good example, my nephew, he doesn't go and play out like we did back in the day. He's quite happy with his phone, doing his own thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, I don't have research, I don't have the numbers, but I'm sure there's a very probably a decrease of participation to interest and developing good cricketers back in Sri Lanka. I don't have I got just a feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to support as much as we can. We try to do fundraising events. So expensive to send kit from England to Sri Lanka with all the shipping costs, etc. But we just trying to do our best.
No, Tara, I think you're doing a fantastic job there with the Ceylon Cricket Foundation. What we're going to do is we'll add those links in the show notes here. And if anyone, we have lots of followers who's listening to us in England, we'll add those links. If you want to help out, please contact Tara and help out, because your little donation will encourage a player who can be a world-class player one day. Like some of these kids, they only need a little bit of encouragement, and that's only, it might be your old cricket bat or your old pair of pads or a glove. So every little helps, as Tara says all the time. We'll add those links, and you can go and have a look at what his foundation is doing. I have one more question for you, Tara. So you have come a long way in your coaching career, and I think you're not done yet. I think the way you're going, you'll end up maybe coaching a national team one day or a IPL team. What's your advice for anyone who is interested to become a cricket coach?
Yeah, I think as a coach, there's two things I personally believe really important: having knowledge about the game and how to coach. Then the other part is the experience, and both of these things comes with some time. So you can't just have everything not going to happen in like a day or two. So the ways you're going to get knowledge and qualification is really important. So that's another way to get the knowledge, how to coach. So if you look at high profile roles, they always ask for minimum level 3 or level 4, having decided to do level 4. So that's the journey. That's take time, as you can imagine. But even from level 1 onwards, you start learning different ways of doing it. And also all these coaching syllabus changes, and you evolving as a coach with the time. So studying is important. So learning journals, listening to other coaches, podcasts, etc., really important. So you get knowledge. And also like shadowing other coaches, having role models, talking to experienced people, and go and have a look. So you got to put some time into it, having looking at them, how they goes about it, what sort of things they talk, how they approach the players, etc. And also that also not just you gain some ideas and new knowledge, you also get reassurance about the already things you do. That's a very good thing. So as example, when I come to Australia and looking at Gillespie and Carl Hooper, they're talking about similar things. I talk to my players, I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. It's just getting that confirmation from the people who's done these roles for a long time, and also playing playing the game. Obviously, you get knowledge about different conditions, how to do it, and also by doing sessions, you're not going to do everything perfectly. So when you plan a session, then you can reflect after the session. You can ask the feedback from players, ask the feedback from your colleagues, and making mistakes. It's not going to be a clean sheet, so you're going to make mistakes. Obviously, then you're going to, next time when you do the same session with a different group, you probably do it better. So understanding that sort of a process, it take a while. That's the knowledge and qualification. The other part, I believe, the experience. Very similar to what I mentioned, but working in different environments is key. Working in different environments key, where you learn again different things, different drills, etc. And also working with different age and stages. I think personally, when I look back, I learned a lot about coaching, especially technical adjustment, things like that. When I work with very young players who's never played cricket before, to they're learning how to play, because when you work with professionals, they do a lot of things well. That's why they're professionals or play for international cricket. So then again, going into different cultures is really important. Then you understand how people think, then also that's test your way of coaching. So the same way I approach to field players or coaches in Sri Lanka, that's probably not always work for players in England, Australia, or even in West Indies. So you got to understand, then adapt your way of thinking and way of doing things according to your audience. Finally, I think the most important part, knowing yourself, knowing your behavior. So we had this, when we did the level 4, we had to record when we coach and listening to our coaching, which is daunting sometimes. Looking at hearing to your own voice and doing things. That's a really good tool. Like if you can record while everyone got a phone now, you can record on like a voice recorder. Just by listening, you can sometimes think, oh, should I simplify this or keep it simple because I'm talking too much sometimes. Or sometimes I could have actually elaborated this more, explain a bit more, and give a bit more depth and detail into these kids because they will understand. That sort of thing. Otherwise, because we do so many sessions, you don't really have time to reflect. That's another good way of doing it. So knowing yourself, knowing your behaviors, and also being unique, being yourself is really important. That's my sort of advice for the coaches. Be open to learn and be open to challenge your beliefs. But ultimately, you need to put the hard yards. Like anything else in life, you just need to go there and explore yourself in different environments and players in different age and stage to be a better coach.
I think on a lighter way to finish, I think being mindful of time. We talked about the side arm. Even that, there's a bit of pressure, rocking up, slinging that first side arm, landing it on the spot. Any memories of, some going over the roof or, swinging to the side of the net? Or are you a fairly confident person on the side arm straight away?
Yeah, I'm pretty. There's a day I can be. Depends on my body conditions. I think I had this during this few months here. I was fresh coming in. So I was getting through the ball. I was like, I wouldn't say sure about that. I'll be more like Charlie down, like doing a bit, on a good wicket, just getting through. And I become a Mark Elam halfway through, doing little wobbles because I threw a lot of balls to Knicks, like they do slip catches.
Oh yeah.
Obviously not so the side arm, obviously you throw it. Because I had I don't know with I remember I had a really like a quite slingy throw, but quite accurate,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
naturally. So I was doing it. I was like, oh, everyone's like, oh, he's really good. He's really good. I was like, oh, and when we do it here, that's something I seen. These guys practice specific things for a long period comparing the. We do slip catches for like 40 minutes here, 45 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, right.
And imagine how many balls I must have thrown. So doing a lot, and first few days fine, it's just keep going, and after a while I was like, oh no. Then that effective side down, I was like, it's more like a rotation, like bowling all spins, like side down with a rotation. Little. And the worst thing as a coach, when the batters ask, T, can you come 3-4 yards closer?
Come forward.
And also there's two things, like your ego, you think you're quick, but you're not. They're asking you to come closer because they want to match up what they're gonna face. Same time they practice wide ball rate, which means he's gonna come even faster.
Come to you, yes.
So that's that. Yeah, the way they hit, unbelievable. One thing, actually last summer when I was in Warwickshire, Carlos and I have a very good relationship. Carlos Brathwaite.
Yeah.
And we were playing against again a team have left arm spinner. So we were practicing in the middle. Because I throw side arm, right arm, I have a mitt for my left arm.
Yeah.
But when I throw left arm, I don't have a mitt for my right arm to cover myself.
Yeah.
So he wants left arm spin. And because I don't throw left arm like as in my main arm, so I have to go a bit closer because I don't bowl, I just throw it, chuck it.
Yeah.
So I go like 20 yards closer and throw the ball.
Yeah.
And normally when Carlos hit a ball, it goes out the park, as you see it many times. But the worst thing, when he missed it, that's the one you need to be aware of. And he actually missed it one like a flinked one and came straight at me. I don't know how I just managed to go down. Luckily missed it.
We have to get the helmet on, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just the way these boys here is unreal. But now I purchased 2 mitts. But it's so hard to catch it right.
Good decision.
Yeah.
This has been great, Tara. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed having this chat. I'm sure our listeners will love this too. If anyone wants to contact you, where can they find you?
I'm going to all the social media platforms, Twitter, or my email address is tara.me@gmail.com, so they can email me. Happy to help anyone. I get so many emails, etc. Always whenever a young coach message me, I always try to find some time to reply. I can't, maybe sometimes can't do it straight away, depending on the work and the timings, but I always reply and say, guide them, because I still remember the days, 2006 especially. I remember when we were doing quick cricket with very hard speaking. Hardly spoken English then, so yeah, with all the demos and a little bit of whatever the words we can use to coach cricket. That's how it started. So it's been a great experience. But yeah, one thing, just want to quickly finish. I think learning English is important, like, because all the research and education stuff happen in English. So I encourage all the coaches to go and learn the language, because hopefully they don't have to go through what we went through when it comes to education side, to learn. It just gives a lot more options to learn, reading, research, and journals, and etc. That's key as well.
Yeah, cool.
Lovely.
We'll add Tara's contacts in our show notes as well. Bora, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, again, thanks a lot, Tara. So, sharing some time of your busy schedule to be with us. Coaching's a key component, especially behind the scenes. And I think you described a lot of what's happening there, how you guys, cope and manage players so that they are ready to go out there. I think good way to wrap up is, Sri Lanka cricket, we know it's very close to our heart. We've all observed, we wish well for Sri Lanka cricket. Any player you've noticed would be, play a big part for us over the next few years? I mean, just from a different point of view that you might have noticed, or anyone that you think. And yeah, I reckon that'll be a good way to close it off for today.
There's so many players we can play. That keep track of that. No, I think I always said the talent is there is the managing players and giving some support and confidence and giving some belief that they can do it. No one.
Yeah.
I found it when I feel like as a coach, like when people looking at me like doubting, it's so hard to do my job.
Yeah.
You tend to get more wrong, worrying about yourself, worrying about your own ability, and people doubting them. So I think obviously Bonnie has been amazing. He's done pretty well last few years. He's obviously one to look at. He's doing pretty well. I knew when I watched LPL, I quite liked the style of Srilanka, the way he bats. I think his place has been moved around a bit. I think he needs one place more consistently. I think there's a talent there. There's definitely talent there who can win games of cricket. I think he's been messed around with his position number 3, number 4, number 5, everywhere. Young Patum Nisank again, those guys, they're not new to the game. They've done pretty well in the domestic level. It's about getting them exposed to even like great to see these young players playing in different, franchise cricket. Every other team, England did it since 2015 when they lost that World Cup. All they did, like they looked at others, what they did, and send the players away and expose themselves. That's why they perform not just home country and go away and do really well.
Yeah,
I think we just need. If we can't go back, that's what I'm saying. I always say we can't go back to 1996. We need to think about 3-4 years forward. What's the cricket going to play in 2026, 7? Then we have to prepare for that. Where are we going to play? What we need to win it. We need to forward thinking, proactive people to see it that way and prepare the players. Otherwise, again, it's all down to how we managing the players and educating these guys. The most exciting thing looking at this England Lions and Sri Lankan competition, it's been a brilliant one. They're trying to play their best ball great, and we've been keeping up with it.
Yeah, correct.
And that's amazing. I think, more we expose against other teams and the quality of cricket we play, I think, we're not far away. But hopefully we will do things consistently. And number 1 is the country, number 2 is the players.
Yeah. So what you're saying is Nishan Madhushka is your pick from the England Lions series.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you give it a go? Why wouldn't you give it a go? Do you know what I mean? He shows he can score runs.
Spot on. I'm excited to see him up there. So a bit of time out in that environment, I'm sure he'll settle in. But
he might play in New Zealand, but if you send him again, not next to he'll be definitely, because no one gonna walk in, and there's very few people done that. Kumar Sangakkara batted number 7 when he first played Sri Lanka. And even Jayawardene batted like 6-7, if I'm wrong.
It takes time.
Lovely. Hope to catch up on another episode, Tara, when you have some free time. And thanks once again for being part of the show. Wish you all the best in your coaching aspirations as well. Looking forward to you being on the circuit somewhere. I mean, women's IPLs around the circuit. I'm sure you'll be a much wanted coach in that circuit as well. So once again, from us here at the pod, thank you. Looking forward to catching up with you at a certain point as well.
You guys do a great job. I know there's only one reason you guys doing it, because we all love cricket and we love cricket in Sri Lanka. So keep up the good work. And I know for a fact people who are watching this and especially in Sri Lanka, they will obviously one day obviously enjoy what you guys are doing, and also there's a lot to take it away from it. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, Tara. You don't know there's lots of money in this podcast game. Thanks, Tara. We'll hopefully catch up soon and have a chat about cricket again. Thanks for joining us.